I have.
Fears.
It encompasses so many different things.
Worries.
I think it's so innovative to see what Hollyoaks is doing to raise the profile and to talk about mental health. I'm so proud to be the MP for Hollyoaks.
Stress.
To encourage people to feel more comfortable being honest and open about things, well, perfect.
Anxieties.
The amount of good that video has done is absolutely astonishing.
Don't filter feelings.
Hollyoaks has a unique relationship with its audience. We tell big blockbuster storylines that act as the Trojan horse to issues that really matter. I believe that there's a genuine mental health crisis going on in the country right now, particularly for young people.
Rather than trying to change attitudes and reduce stigma, Hollyoaks also has the opportunity to actually educate the next generation coming up so that these people actually grow up with this as part of their everyday dialogue.
This year, Hollyoaks tackled quite a few mental health storylines, such as Lily's self-harm.
You know, sometimes you get so upset, it's like everyone hurts. Yeah, and this is like a release.
Alfie's schizoaffective disorder.
No, there isn't time to talk. He's right. I need proof.
Is someone talking to you?
They'll lock you up, Alfie.
Cleo's bulimia. And of course, Scott's suicide attempt.
Get lost, Scott. Not now, Scott. You're a fool, Scott. An idiot, Scott. Get out me house, Scott. We don't want you, Scott.
You don't have to put a stupid face on anymore.
The reason I'm so proud of the Hollyoaks digital team is that they create these amazing campaigns that work so well with our storylines.
Samaritans thought that the Don't Filter Feelings campaign was a really important message to get out there, particularly to young people.
What's really prevalent on social media is people presenting a perfect version of themselves, a filtered version of themselves.
Everybody's having a great life, everything's going well all the time. You know, that just isn't real.
That sense of being filtered lends itself perfectly to the campaign Don't Filter Feelings. If you take that filter off, then you're presenting a much truer version of yourself and you might just be able to get the help that you need. So initially we wanted to create easily digestible social videos that would have a wide appeal beyond the Hollyoaks audience. Using Facebook Messenger filters, we explained the feelings our characters were going through in different parts of their story.
I think using Facebook Messenger filters in that way through Scott's story really helps to get that important message across to people, using symbolism to show people the potential impact that Scott was hidden behind this perfect veneer and really impacted on the way that he was feeling inside and isolated himself further through creating a barrier himself.
Someone may not have dealt with self-harm or suicide before, but they could relate to the emotions of someone who may have. The message was feelings are universal, and using well-known filters in the video was a nod to that. We've got the most wonderful and generous cast here at Hollyoaks, and I'm enormously proud of them every day, and particularly when I see their involvement in the digital campaigns. We were given access to the Twitter Q&A app in association with the Beat Eating Disorder charity. Nadine Mulkerin talked about her experience of filming Cleo's bulimia and took questions from the Twitter audience.
I just want to help break down stigmas surrounding mental health and bulimia. From the research, apparently it takes 3 years for people to finally come forward and get help and speak to people and open up. I feel very lucky now that I have a new understanding and a clearer insight into bulimia.
We built a Facebook Live studio to bring other charities onto set to talk about mental health. We'd been working very closely with Mind and Johnny Benjamin on Alfie's story, so we created a Facebook Live where Richard Linnell interviewed both and took questions from the audience.
And I believe we are live. Yes. Hello, wonderful people of the internet.
That partnership between the stuff off screen and on screen is so key, because it continues the conversation and broadens it out and gives people extra information, the facts. So it's perfect to give them all of the tools to then go forth and have really good, productive, healthy discussions about the topic.
Today we're going to find out, before the story gets going in earnest, a bit more about schizoaffective disorder as a condition.
Mental health in particular is a very eruptive subject at the moment. It's very key now, and there's a lot of stigma in place that is wrong. So it was brilliant that we could sit down, have Johnny, who first of all, is an incredible human being, just overall, but also is a great campaigner for that condition, having personally battled with it, and a representative from Mind.
I thought people with schizophrenia growing up were, as you said, like they might be dangerous, and I was like, that's not me. Like I can't. Do I have schizophrenia? And I used to tell people that I had depression, but I would never go into kind of the psychosis part of it because I was too embarrassed. It took me years, and again, I wish I would have opened up about it much earlier. But
and then also the best part was throwing it to the audience and being able to look at their questions as they came in live.
What would be the one piece of advice that you would give to someone going through the same thing?
All sorts of things around self-care as well, things that you can do to build up your own resilience. I think that's really important. Diet, exercise, keeping a diary, all of those things can be helpful.
Ultimately, it's talk. It's talk. It's talk, really. It's talk and open up and know that you're not alone. So, yeah, that's... Yeah.
Amazing.
Being able to interact with the audience and give them the feeling that they were truly being listened to because, you know, they were in the room with us.
There's one thing I regret in life, it's how long I spent hiding it and being embarrassed because actually everyone was really accepting. Everyone, my whole family and friends, like I thought they were gonna like, I don't know, shun me, but everyone was like, okay, well, that's fine. And then no one was like, oh, well, that means you're, everyone was fine with it. So I wish I would have spoken about it earlier. So yeah, don't be embarrassed.
Really, I think set the bedrock for the conversation around the storyline to be as good as it has been.
In May 2018, it was Mental Health Awareness Week, and we wanted to build to something really special, and that led to us releasing the Don't Filter Feelings video.
I have
Fears.
worries,
Stress.
Anxieties.
Don't filter feelings.
The Don't Filter Feelings video was so powerful because it featured members of the Hollyoaks cast and crew talking about the anxieties and the issues and the mental health concerns that they face every day of their lives.
It's like a dull whir that suddenly spins out of control. The idea that you can't actually turn your brain off, that's beyond your control.
Well, it was like living in a bubble. It was like being in a dream, part of a film that you had no control over the storyline with.
I think using the Snapchat filters was a really clever mechanic to demonstrate to people that often people with mental health problems do put that filter on their own mental health.
And I just burst into tears. And that was the first time I realised I actually did have depression.
Helen in Makeup talked about severe depression. Becky from HR talked about an eating disorder.
I became quite obsessive. I'd get on the scales every morning before work.
Richard Linnell, member of the cast, talked about his anxiety.
I myself experience from time to time moderate to severe periods of anxiety, you know, where leaving the house, little things, meeting friends, any form of situation can be really scary.
Is probably the thing I'm most proud of in the 3 years of me being here. It really is. Just the amount of good that video has done is absolutely astonishing. Watching so many of my colleagues and friends open up so rawly and talk about their own mental health, it's showing them that it's completely okay to be acceptive of those feelings, because everyone feels them, even the people that you look up to and you aspire to be like suffer from them, because everyone does.
And towards the end of the video, the filter was lifted, and that was the underlying message from each of the contributors: just open up and talk.
I'm Bob Cryer.
Nicole Barbalane.
Ross Adams,
Becky Frodsham.
Helen McEwen. Laura Halligan.
Lara McQueen.
Tom Stokoe.
Richard Linnell, and I don't filter feelings.
The response made all of that worth it. Some of the nicest, most thoughtful debate on the internet I think I've ever seen. Comments can often be a breeding ground for unproductive conversations, and seeing this lovely gem of people supporting each other and really kind of, you know, lifting each other up and discussing things openly and just completely bearing all to a group of people because they knew that they'd support them. The impact of the campaign is clear, to the point where the hashtag that the show came up with for, you know, Don't Filter Feelings has just been adopted by the community of mental health community as a whole. Instagram particularly, it's become the staple hashtag to use for mental health conversations, which I really think is just a nice little kind of like encapsulated way to show just how far this campaign has expanded beyond the show.
Acknowledging that we wanted to take the responsibility from our storylines and apply that backstage to our cast and crew was really important to us, and signing the Time to Change pledge was a way of marking that. We had a very special evening for cast and crew where we showed Alfie's Schizoaffective episode. We signed the Time to Change pledge, and we also previewed the Don't Filter Feelings video to the cast and crew and all the participants.
Today's pledge is about Line Pictures making a commitment to its staff and to our community that mental health issues will be treated like any other illness.
Culmination of that was the show being invited to Parliament to talk about our commitment to mental health storytelling.
It was so powerful to hear firsthand from the cast about the stories that they were sharing with the public in Parliament, where we've got a job to do. We've got a job to do to break down those barriers, to tackle that discrimination. We are making a lot of progress, but we're not quite there yet, so we're on a journey, and Hollyoaks is playing such an important role on that journey to raise the profile of mental health.
I'm enormously proud of the team's Don't Filter Feelings campaign. I think it's really helped open up a dialogue. It's really helped people open up about what they're coping with at home.
Encouraging people to get help in this way, you know, really reaching out to them. Research shows that that does encourage people to get help.
This campaign has meant so much to me and has been so integral in such a big shift that I've seen, you know, kind of in the large scale and even personally in conversations I have with people like my friends, that I would say it's the proudest thing I've ever done here, bar none.
It's okay,